dark early out here. Ronnie Dale, four-wheeling at westernaustralia.com, and welcome to our Goldfields adventure. We are at Balaji Rock, or Balaji Rock, not sure how you say it. Myself and Nathan drove here last night in the dark. We got here just before midnight. Graham and Malcolm are already here. So we're all just chilling, having our breakfast at the moment. On this particular trip, I've left a Weber at home because of don't have enough room. Although, you got a Weber with you, don't you?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
So Graham's got a Weber, but I'm doing all campfire cooking this trip. So we're just going to put the fire out and then pretty much just pack up and start going. So when I mean campfire cooking, we're going to cook steaks straight on the coals. Got the camp oven, which I haven't brought out for a while. The fire pit, and that's pretty much it. That's all my cooking gear. Look, I do have a gas stove on the other side, which is just for your roadside stopping. This here is going to be my frying pan and camp oven lid, but you'll see that at camp. So we've checked out the rock here. Some nice features on it. We've had a bit of a look at the salt lake as well. So the small one, there's some big ones out here. Thought I might as well show you on the actual map where we're going, and then you get a rough idea of what we got planned. You got a good stick there, Graham? Yep. Cool. This is Perth over here. Last night we drove almost to Southern Cross. We are now here at Lake Balaji, or Lake Balaji. This is Bullfinch, which is a half ghost town. Well, I've never been there, so we'll find out shortly. So we're going to Bullfinch, and then we're heading up this road here. There's a couple of abandoned mines we're going to check out. And then up to Mount Jackson, which is an abandoned station. From there, we're going to head off to Aurora Range, which is here. Bungalbin Hill. And then I'll explain tomorrow what we're going to do. So today, up here, down to there. Yep, there's only 2 vehicles on this trip, but we are well prepared. We have all our spare parts, and it's going to be a lot easier to find a campsite, as we don't need much room. We then arrived at the town site of Bullfinch, or what's left of it anyway. Now, people have been pulling gold out of the ground here since 1909, but it wasn't until the 1950s a bigger company opened a bigger mine, which had 130 people working there, and this led to the town site being built. We're just on the other side of Bullfinch. We're not quite out of the town side yet, and it's confirmed. It's a semi-ghost town. Bullfinch swimming pool, 1957. This is all that's left from the swimming pool area back in 1957. Now, the mine actually ceased production in 1963, so this has been sitting around for a while here. And around town there were a lot of concrete pads with just nothing on it. It's a bit of a ghost town. Finally, time to lock the hubs and head bush. Off-road now. We're on our way to an abandoned mine site. This track is pretty well here and there. Got a big salt lake to our right. And should be coming up to it pretty soon actually. If this was a shaft, it's collapsed But we're coming up to it still.
Yeah.
There's I can see something on the hill there.
Yeah, there's an old mine battery there.
Found a shaft, Nathan.
Yeah, that's pretty decent.
Oh, half collapsed.
Goes.
Oh, it goes in under.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Still. So this one here looks like it had some kind of mechanical operation system where the carts would be dragged up on that rail line there, and that pipe, I'm not sure if that's air ventilation or if they use to pump water out of it, because there's a salt lake right here, and not far below the crust of a salt lake it's quite wet, so I'm imagining that they probably hit the water table pretty quick. We are not far from Mount Jackson, but I found something interesting while we're crossing the Salt Lake, and that is these wooden planks here. So it seems to me that this is where they used to cross. Sort of laid all these bits of wood out to cross the Salt Lake. Kind of makes sense. There's a fair bit of water out in the Salt Lake too.
After a bit more travelling, we then approached this other mine shaft, which we were quite excited about. However, it had a no entry sign. So this could be due to danger, or perhaps the people that have a lease on the mine don't want you in there.
Mount Jackson Station. Oh, I left my wok at home. Seen better days.
a good oiling.
Sign in book. You even got a stock pantry.
Any coffee mugs for Nathan?
Yeah, he did forget his, didn't he? This here, I believe, is an old sheep station. Just got a bit excited. Found some snake skin. I'd say it would have been here for a little bit though. I don't think we've seen any snakes this time of the year, being winter. It's bloody cold in the morning. This morning was really cold, and I reckon these clouds are gonna disappear by the afternoon. Hopefully they hang around, keep the warmth in. We've got 2.5 hours of daylight left, and I really want to get to the Aurora Range in the daylight because I've never been out here before. The tracks are actually not that easy to find from my mapping systems. They're not on a lot of the maps. There are some on my HX1 on the terrain setting. It's got different settings, I'll explain that later. And you can actually see some of the faint lines, but I want to get there in daylight so we can see where we're going. And we've got to navigate up on top of the mountain as well, or the range. And don't really want to do that in the dark. Done that too many times before. So we better get a move on. Well, I've made my lunch. Now it's ready to go. Look, I'll run you through tomorrow on our other road stop lunch, how I can quickly prepare things with my new setup, which you've probably already seen if you watched the Pilbara trip. But over here, Graham and the 200. So how are you actually preparing your lunch?
I'm on to seconds, Ronnie. We just got cold meat and salad wraps. So we just got one of those roast chickens, the hot ones, broke it down into Ziploc bags for each day.
Oh, so you just pre-prepared it?
Pre-prepared it at home so it was ready to go. And then we've just got wraps, some salad, some sauce, nice and easy.
So when you pull up, how quick can you make what you're doing?
I can have lunch down and packed up and driving in 10 minutes again.
You just keep ripping these tubs here? And
yeah, all my food goes into plastic tubs and it's sort of broken into like condiments, breads and chips, and then just other odds and ends. So it's pretty easy. All my food, like fridge food, is all in one section on my fridge, and I can just grab out what I need for lunch on the tailgate, put it together.
So here's a modified 32. So if you want to see the whole build in this car, check out that video, which I'll put a link to at the end of this one.
So drinks, food.
Is it resting anyway?
It does rest on the bottom.
Awesome. I actually prefer a tilt slide and a drop slide. They're cheaper as well.
Cheaper and take up a lot less space.
Yeah, that's
so.
We have already seen our fair share of mine shafts, but this one here took the cake and was the last one before we made our big dash to the Aurora Range.
We keep stopping. We're trying to stay on the track and just get to our campsite, but we keep coming across mine shafts and diggings and old rubbish, which is interesting. It's funny that once rubbish gets pretty old, it gets pretty interesting. Back there we saw like remnants of an old chimney just in the middle of nowhere. So you think there's nothing out here, but there's stuff everywhere. So it would have been a lot of activity out here once upon a time. This one here is about, I don't know, 8 meters deep. It looks like it goes in under. Again, I assume all these are gold mines. of a lead balloon for me here, for us, I should say. I was looking forward to this climb, but because it's, it looks like they put a sign there because it's like beyond reach for the stock four-wheel drive. But with all the modifications and stuff we have on our vehicles, this is the kind of stuff we like doing. Bit of a challenge. It's actually pretty easy if you do all your wheel placement. I'm not going to walk through it too much because we're not driving up it and it's getting dark. So if we were going to do this, we'd do it in the morning for obvious reasons because it is a bit difficult. But the point is, we can't drive this because there's a sign there saying track closed. So now we have to double back the other way because this is a dead end, because this actually goes to the top where we want it to get to. So we're considering camping down the bottom, but we're just going to drive around the other side and take the easy way up. Obey the signs. So the only reason why the sign irritates me a bit is because I think they've closed it because it's a danger for people who don't know what they're doing and who just try and attempt it. I think a risk sign, at your own risk, would be a better sign to use. But hang on, I just remembered something. There's some people trying to mine this whole range here. So they're trying to mine the range, they're trying to get a mining lease. So basically this will be off limits to everyone, and they're going to dig it up because of all the iron ore. I mean, we walked that track there, there's so much iron ore in there, but they'll close the track. So I have to take the benefit of the doubt they close it for safety reasons. They have a let it grow emblem on the sign, but I don't know if that's the reason. So right now we're looking for a campsite. In the dark again. Oh, here we go. Wow, how's that? Camping area. Camping area. I don't know why I'm indicating, I'm in the bush.
Does it camp anywhere, or is there like a side track here?
Yeah, go for a bit of a look.
There's a little fork there, and then it ends up in the circle, and there's car tracks everywhere, and there's a old fire on the ground there.
Copy. Let's look for the least dustiest spot, if that's even possible.
There's a bit of grass or something on the ground here, mate.
So yeah, that was pretty lucky. All of a sudden, just like that. I was just about to tell you how we couldn't find a campsite. What time do you want to have dinner?
Time to light a fire, and I'm using flint and steel. I am making this look very easy, and it actually is with a bit of practice. Now the first tip I'm going to give you here is get something that can hold the spark and turn into flame. For example, cotton wool. Really good one. I am using natural ingredients here though. And after that, it's all about preparation. Have all your little twigs and sticks and all the way out to your bits of wood ready to go. Otherwise, you've got nothing to feed your fire with.
Alright, we're going.
This and a cold beer. Right.
Nathan didn't bring a cup,
Made it.
so we have a baked beans can here from the morning, and you know, it's a pretty bland looking cup. I mean, it'll do, but I figured why not make it a nice cup for him so he doesn't keep stealing my cup. So I'll make a paracord cup. So here we go. That'll do there. Now we'll trim these two, and we've got a mug. There you go, Nathan.
Oh, thank you, Ron. That's so nice. That's pretty flash, actually.
Cheers. I want one now.
Oh, I could sell this. one to you if you want.
No,
No,
you're
it's
right.
pretty good. I like it. It's good.
We'll have a swig. So aside from cutting your lip, how is it?
Oh, it's a bit baked beany, but it's all right.
Is it still baked beanie?
No, it's good. Better than the mug I came out with, isn't it?
Alright, dinner tonight. We're going to have steaks on the fire and we're going to have potato gems. Now, I got the potato gems idea from Harry, so thank you, Harry. We're going to do them in the camp oven, and I've got a bit of a chili mix to throw in it. So those coals are nearly ready on the fire, so I think we better hop to that now before it gets too late. Got a bit of a spice here. Spud gems or potato gems have been in there for about 20 minutes. I had a bit of a peek, not really timing things here. I'm going to give them another 10 minutes, but meanwhile, let's see what the boys are doing over here. Hamburgers.
Hamburgers indeed, with a lot. So
A lot.
bit of bacon to go on.
So does that include egg,
Yep.
beetroot,
No,
pineapple?
no, I didn't bring all that. Yeah, bacon, egg,
I've got beetroot.
beef, onion,
You want beetroot?
salad. No, that's fine.
I think tomorrow we'll have a look at your setup at our next camp, or maybe not. Well, if we get there in daylight. But the next spot we're going to is Mount Elvey, and we should be there. Well, we are going to be there for 2 days if we make it there. We've got a lot of salt lakes we've got to navigate around and cross to get to it, and it should be alright. But I think we'll get there in the dark just for the distance and possible difficulty of getting there. But yeah, so the next day, if we get there in daylight,
No, we'll run through it.
we'll have a look at your entire camp. Yeah, because the way it's set up when I caught up with you on Thursday was really cool. So I think a lot of people want to see that.
No, cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Alright, what's the time?
Time for dinner.
Dinner time.
20 past 8.
Oh, actually, time doesn't matter, Eddie, does it?
Not out here.
So straight on, high intensity heat. They're going to be there for about a minute, roughly. I'm not timing it, just roughly a minute. Okay, so we caramelised one side. We're now going to let it rest. 5 minutes, thereabouts. Oh yeah, caramelised. We'll let them rest. Grab the onion. Let the onion rest. And I think we'll just check on these gems. Oh wow, come have a look at this. That turned out really good. I think they've been on there for more like 30 minutes. It's a big camp oven. They only put half in. We're eating well tonight, Nathan.
Great. In fact, tastes great. I shouldn't sound surprised, should I?
Okay, well you've been to my house for barbecues before.
True.
Oh, you said that was a bit of a hesitation.
Coming up in part 2, we climb the mountain, get real remote, and the real adventure begins.
You got it right then. But we also got the maps here to follow. So this one here being a bit better, I'll zoom in.